I finished reading Carried On by Rowell. Bonjour darling! Today I come back to you with a little chit chat about Carry On by Rowell. I know I'm late to that party, but hey, not everyone can read every book at light speed, right? It's impossible. So please be kind to me. First, I'm going to talk to you about the things I didn't thought were handled very, very well. And then I'm going to talk to you about the things I liked, so we can end on a positive. I'm going to read you the synopsis, so if you are as late as me, you can know what that book is about. Half the time, Simon can't even make his wand work, and the other half, he set something on fire. His mentor's avoiding him, his girlfriend broke up with him, and there is a magic-eating monster running around wearing Simon's face. His roommate Baz would be having a field day with all this if he were here. It's their last year at the Watford School of Magics, and Simon's infuriating nemesis didn't even bother to show up. Now, let's talk about the things I thought weren't that well handled. There are a few things, primarily, maybe it's because I write myself, I don't know, but there are a few plot twists that I guessed immediately. Especially about the villain and the monster, the magic-eating monster, whose name you learn very soon in the text, the humdrum. I didn't guess everything about the humdrum, but I guessed the biggest plot twist about it, which is that it's a part of Simon himself, and all the power Simon has is because he drains the world of its magic, creating all these empty spaces that the humdrum is accused of having eaten. The humdrum doesn't eat magic, he's what's left of magic, the void that's left of magic after Simon uses his powers. That I had guessed really early on. So it was a bummer. I also had guessed that the mage, his mentor, isn't that good of a man. It was pretty easy for me to guess. I had guessed that he was his real father, even though I didn't guess how he had conceived Simon with black magic. That I didn't guess. But I knew he was his son, and there was something behind the way he came to the world that made him not declaring that he was his true father. So that was a bummer, and I don't like that cap actually. I also didn't like one of the characters, Agatha, Simon's girlfriend. I understand where the author was going, that Agatha didn't want a magic's life, she wanted a normal life, she wanted blah blah blah. But the way she was written in that book made her come off as pretty selfish and cowardly, and annoying. But that's just a me thing. All of those are just a me thing. The fact that I guessed plot points, the fact that I didn't like a character, it's just me things. It's not on Rowell, it's on me. I'm not saying that it's a bad book because of that. That would be stupid. The other thing is that Baz, I understood where it came from, because you learn really fast that Baz is in love with Simon, and afterwards Simon falls in love with Baz. So Baz's side of that love story I got. He was in love with Simon, but his entire life was dedicated to destroying the mage and Simon, because Simon is the mage's heir and he's his pupil. But he loves him. So he both loves him and hates him because of his status. He will have to fight with Simon and kill him. So that's where all this hatred and anger comes from. So that I got. It was well done, well executed. It's one of the things that I loved in the book. It was Baz's character. But Simon is the one that kisses Baz first, and you are in Simon's head for more than half the book. And it comes from nowhere. It comes from nowhere. It's ridiculous. Yes, Simon cares about Baz, but he also is sure that Baz is a baddie, that he is a vampire, that he is his nemesis, that he is from a family that wants to destroy the mage and all the social advancements that the mage has done. So what the freak? Where did that kiss come from? There were a million other ways in that scene for Simon to obtain what he wants, which is Baz not committing suicide. But he chooses a kiss? Why? You are inside his head. You hear all of his thoughts. Where did that come from? There wasn't anything in that book before that kiss, from Simon's point of view, in my opinion, that helped us guess that Simon was going to kiss that man. Nowhere to be seen. That's ridiculous. And yes, I'm getting angry because it was stupid. And after that book takes place in 2015. Okay, so it was published in 2015. And after the kiss, Simon keeps asking himself if he's gay. Okay, you can ask yourself that. You had a girlfriend before, but you can ask yourself, was I mistaken? Was I gay the entire time? But never ever does he ask himself if he's bisexual or pansexual. Pansexual, I can get why, because it's not that wide spread of a term. But bisexual, excuse me, in 2015, I don't believe you. So that was the things that I didn't like. The fact that I guessed plot points, that I didn't like a character, that the kiss came from nowhere, from Simon's part, and that there was bi erasure. Then, the things I liked. Because there are things I liked in that book. There are actually a lot of things I liked in that book. First, the mage doesn't have the Dumbledore bad habit of not telling Simon what he needs to know. That he's the chosen one and that he has to fight the humdrum and etc., etc. In the beginning, before I guessed that the mage wasn't that good of a man and what the humdrum was, I thought it was a good thing. It was refreshing. He knows he's the chosen one and he has known for a long time. Actually, it is a book that starts in the middle of the war, after he had spent years in the magical school. it is not something you see really often. Often, when there is a chosen one, you start the story when they learn they are the chosen one, when they are younger, when they discover their magic and stuff like that. Here, Simon already knows all of that, and that's an interesting start point for a book. I also really loved all the other characters. I especially liked Baz's point of view because he's interesting in the way that his point of view is really complicated. He's queer in a family that find it more acceptable for him to be a vampire than to be queer, which is, well, interesting. I like the fact that you followed multiple points of views, like Penelope's, for example, was interesting. I liked the way the magic works. So, the magic works with words that have weight and meaning. For example, the magics need the normal people to keep talking and creating and writing words so that they can use those words to do magic. Like, for example, what was I thinking about? Yeah. For example, there is a moment where Simon looks for Baz and he uses Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? To find him, because that song is a children's song and everybody knows it, so it means that those words have enough weight to become magical in the mouth of a magical being, a magician, so a wizard. I don't know which words to use. That was very interesting and that was well executed. That was a good idea and I really like that. Also, what I loved was the politics behind all of this, all the points of views. There are a lot of political baggages in that war, because not only is the humdrum as people believe, devouring magic, but the mage is changing the way the magical world works. Like, before, the magic was only reserved for people that had a lot of power and that came from ancient families, and all the other magicals couldn't access the school of Watford and learn to use their magic. But the mage changed that. He made magic accessible to everyone for free, which is a revolution. But the ancient families feel that he's destroying their heritage and wasting magic, because some people think that there is a finite quantity of magic, which is, we don't know if it's true, but it's a belief, and it's an important belief, and it explains a lot of things, a lot of why they want the things to stay the way they are. Because if there is a finite quantity of magic, of course you are only going to give it to the people that can wield it the best. And what I also liked was the plot itself. Let me explain. I complained about the fact that I guessed things, but it didn't stop me from liking the book itself. Because even though I guessed things, I still enjoyed the writing style and the rhythm, the pace of the story. The pace was really well done, and it had a lot of rhythm, and you ended on a note where you understood the story way better. You understood a lot of it. The story was finished in a satisfying way. The hero had to pay a price, a high price, and it felt like he had earned his victory. And I don't know, it was just a fast-paced, action-packed story carried by well-written characters, except for Agatha. I still don't like her. And there were those little snippets of the past that explained to you some plot points, but it didn't feel artificial, it didn't feel too much, it didn't feel like info dumping, it felt natural. So really well written on that part. In the end, I'm giving that book 4 stars out of 5, or 3.5. No, 4 stars. 4 stars, because I really love the characters, especially Baz. He was a really well done antagonist to protagonist character. His arc was masterfully written. I hope you liked that video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of any of my new videos. And you can also follow me on social media. All links down below in the description box. And as always, au revoir, darling!